Hi everybody, this is Josh, aka Smitty Smith, and thank you for tuning into the Front Burner channel. Today, with our very first piece of exclusive content, I am bringing you a unique video from PAX East 2003. I had the pleasure of getting a sit-down appointment with Signal Studios, creators of Toy Soldiers, with their new free-to-play XBLA game, Ascend New Gods. Now, Ascend New Gods is a very unique title. Like I mentioned before, this is a free-to-play XBLA game that's going to focus mainly on microtransactions to actually be profitable for the company. Now, the microtransactions come into play because you purchase souls, which are the currency in the game. When you start the game, you create your character and you're given 500 souls to create your character with. Now, these souls can be used on anything from custom facial characteristics, custom body type, armor, even weapons for your character to start the game with. Once that's done, you're going to be pushed into what's called the Hall of Gods, and the Hall of Gods is basically a leaderboard. What you'll see is the top 3 players in the game are seated right at the center of the room, and then all of the leaderboards that they track. The people at the top of those leaderboards are dispersed around the edge of that room, so you can see exactly who's on top for instance, most souls spent, or most rocks broken, that type of thing. Once you have moved beyond the Hall of Gods, you're actually asked to choose a god, and your choices are down to 3 options. You can choose the light side, you can choose the dark side, or you can choose void. Now, of course, nobody chooses light, so for the sake of this demonstration, I actually chose light during PAX East. The actual effect of choosing your god will affect how you battle for the land of this particular area. And I apologize, but this world escapes me. The name of the world, that is. Each god will give you a unique spell to use. For light, I got a lightning spell. Okay, and you can use that. There's a small cooldown timer that every time you cast it, you have to wait for this timer to refresh before you can actually cast it again. As you're battling through particular areas, the reason you're doing this is to essentially desecrate an altar of a rival god to claim it for your god, and by doing that, you're going to claim a particular area for your god. Do that enough times, and your god will start taking over the continent, and essentially winning this sort of meta game of PvP that is available throughout. As you kill things, you'll move through levels, and you'll find treasure chests and things like that. So there's obviously loot to be had. Again, weapons, armor, helmets, boots, things like that are totally customizable and look completely badass as you get up higher in level. You can also purchase items. So as you get to level 2, level 3, level 4, new items become available that are obviously more effective, and again, look way cooler than the stuff you start out with. The other items that you're going to be purchasing are your spells, and there are different types of spells you can buy. You can buy items to heal yourself, you can buy different spells to use in combat, and you can use spells in this sort of indirect PvP that they have. And what the indirect PvP is once you're in an area, you will see other people in this same area, except you can't interact with them directly. You'll see the outline of their body, you'll see them doing particular things, you might see them in battle, but you can't see exactly what they're battling. And then you have the option of helping or hindering them. So you can use spells like Banish, for instance. Banish will take all the enemies around you and banish them into that player's world. So suddenly they go from fighting 5 or 10 tiny minions that are easily they can easily handle, and suddenly they're fighting 15 or 20. They can then in turn banish them back to you, and then you enter this strange game of ping-ponging the enemies back and forth. There are also spells where you can summon a wolf totem, for instance, where you throw a totem on the ground and it will summon wolf enemies into that character's game, just to further, be a nuisance. Now, if somebody's in that area and they're on your faction, they're of the light side in my instance, I can actually throw down a healing totem. And what that will do is, as they're playing, this healing totem will heal them to help them on their way. So there's certainly ways to help your god move through, world to world, and there's ways to really hinder the other players who are worshiping the other gods. Now, one thing that was actually quite impressive was that the developers, Signal Studios themselves, brought it to my attention that obviously there are certain exploits that can be had. You can take yourself out of PvP if you don't want to have that nuisance of people bothering you while you play. The problem comes in, you can actually banish a bunch of enemies, throw down some totems, and then pull yourself out of PvP, essentially leaving this player alone with everything that you just summoned in. Because they acknowledged that at the show, it put my mind at ease a little bit more that this is something they're aware of, and this is something that they're probably going to fix before the game comes out later. I would expect this year, possibly Summer of Arcade, though they could not confirm anything for me. As you kill things and you move through the levels, you're going to level up. Once you hit level 5, you get the opportunity to ascend. And what ascending is essentially you get to an altar, you desecrate the altar for your god, and then you can choose to ascend, which is basically a prestige if you're familiar with Call of Duty. You take your character, you get to select one item that you like to take with you to your next character, and then the character that you have will become an NPC at that particular altar where you ascend. Anybody who shows up that tries to take that altar away from your god will have to fight your NPC. I believe that as you as your NPC fights different enemies and defeats them, you're going to earn more souls to spend in the stores. Okay? Now, once you ascend, you're given the opportunity to actually jump to a new god. And what will happen is these new gods obviously want you on their side, battling for them. So they're going to give you these particular perks, these items, to try to lure you to their side. Your god isn't blind to this and will offer you things as well. So it's up to the player to constantly maintain this balance of staying with their god and possibly winning this ever-present battle, or moving on to a new god and maybe even joining up with friends, or moving to a side that's already winning and running the risk of angering the other gods. Again, I only spent about 40 minutes in the game, and while I was playing, the developers did me the favor of throwing some extra souls my way so that I could see the new weapons and buy some new spells and things like that. But this game is very exciting. This free-to-play stigma that comes along with games like this, I'm not sure it's going to be here, essentially because it's an Xbox game. It's on Microsoft. But what I can say is, if the gameplay is on par with what I played at PAX East, I'm going to sink a lot of money into this game. Stay tuned for this to come out later this year, and let me know what you think. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and stay tuned to frontburner.com for all the exclusive news, reviews, previews, and editorials in the world of gaming.